Hey everyone, my name's Zach Davis. I'm with Pet Business Insurance. My agency specializes in insurance coverage for mobile pet groomers, grooming salons, dog daycares, kennels, any pet-related business, really. Today, we're going to be talking about insurance coverage for mobile groomers and grooming salons. And the title of today's presentation is, Should I Be Insured? The short answer and spoiler is yes, absolutely. If you own a salon or mobile grooming business or are a subcontractor for a salon or mobile grooming business, you absolutely should have insurance coverage to protect you and protect the pets that are in your care. Once again, I'm Zach Davis. I'm with Pet Business Insurance, and we've been focusing on pet-related business insurance, insuring the businesses that take care of the pets for about 10 years now. And I'm one of the owners of the agency. Today, we're going to be talking about the essential insurance coverages that every salon should carry, mobile groomer should carry to protect their business, to protect the pets in their care, and to protect their employees. So kicking things off, what we're going to talk about first is going to be the business owner's policy. And I'm going to be focusing specifically on mobile pet groomers in this presentation. And there's 3 different insurance policies that every mobile groomer should carry. One, there's a business owner's insurance policy, which covers the general liability of the business. It covers the professional liability of the business, covers the pets in your care, your property and tools and equipment that travel around with you from job site to job site. It provides insurance protection for your income or loss of income. And number 2, we're going to go through the commercial auto policy, which is going to cover the vehicle that you're using in your day-to-day operations. If you've got a truck and trailer setup or a vehicle and trailer setup, we're going to talk about covering the pulling vehicle and the trailer. If you've got a van with a conversion done to it, we're going to talk about the insurance coverage to protect that vehicle. And we'll talk about the workers' compensation insurance coverage, or the insurance coverage that's going to protect your employees if they get injured on the job and if they're unable to work due to those injuries. So first, I want to get into the business owner's policy. The business owner's policy is going to be the most coverage-rich insurance policy. So it's going to have many different types of insurance coverage and lines of protection that are going to protect your business. So the first base insurance coverage that's included in a business owner's policy is going to be general liability insurance coverage. And this is like your first line of defense against claims resulting from bodily injury, damage, or advertising injury. To give you an example of the general liability insurance coverage, this is going to protect your business. Let's say one of the pets gets off the leash and bites somebody. I've got 2 dogs myself. Let's say one of you came to my house to groom my pets, and you come up to the front door, you grab my 2 dogs, and you're walking back to your rig to groom the pets. And one of the pets escapes the leash, runs across the street, and bites one of my neighbors. The general liability insurance policy is going to be the portion of the insurance policy that's going to cover the injuries to this neighbor. Neighbor just got bit by the dog. Now the dog wants to sue, more than likely me as the pet owner, but also you as the groomer, since that pet was in your care and you're responsible. You're going to be the one that's liable for anything that happens to the neighbor. That, again, the dog bites the neighbor's going to sue you as the business owner. So the general liability is going to provide coverage to protect your clients, not the pets, but the actual clients. To talk about this, another example, you come to my house, you get my 2 dogs, walk back to the rig, you've got the dogs in the vehicle, and I decide as the client, I'm going to walk around the rig and just make sure everything's okay. I'm going to check out the situation here. So I'm walking around the rig and I end up tripping and falling over some of your equipment, trip and fall over the tire of the vehicle, and I fall and break my arm. Well, technically you have the exposure as the business owner for those medical expenses. So I trip and fell, broke my arm, and I decide to sue you for those injuries because I tripped over your equipment. The general liability portion of the insurance policy is going to be the portion of the insurance policy that's going to protect you from me trying to sue you. Number 2 of this business owner's policy, and probably one of the most important insurance coverages in the policy, is called professional liability coverage. This is the portion of the insurance policy that's going to protect the pets that are in your care while you're performing your service, your professional service, which in this case is going to be grooming. So if the pet gets injured during the groom, the professional liability, also known as errors and admissions insurance, is going to be the portion of the insurance coverage that's going to protect the pets. So you're grooming a pet gets cut during the groom. Professional liability portion is going to be the portion of the insurance policy that's going to respond to those injuries and pay the veterinary expenses associated with those injuries. And it's called professional liability because you're a professional and you're rendering your professional service. This is going to be the insurance coverage that's going to respond to those pets' injuries. Now, it's not the only insurance coverage that you need to protect your grooming business. There's also a different coverage called animal bailies or an animal floater. There's multiple terms depending on which insurance company you're using to protect your business. Animal bailies, animal floater, similar insurance coverage. This is going to protect the pets that are in your care outside of the groom. So you're not rendering your professional service. You're not grooming the pet, but the pet escapes the leash. It runs across the street, gets hit by a car, runs away and is unrecoverable. The animal bailies or animal floater is the portion of the insurance coverage that's going to respond to the pet's injuries, losing the pet, or the pet dying while they're in your care, for example, or essentially getting hurt or injured outside of the groom. So you come to my door to grab my 2 dogs, you're walking back to the rig, one of the dogs escapes the leash, runs across the street, gets hit by a car. The animal bailies or animal floater is going to be the portion of the insurance policy that's going to respond to that claim, or respond to either, again, paying for the replacement of the pet or paying for the pet's injuries. So another example would be the pets, you're walking the 2 dogs back to the rig and a neighbor walks by with their dogs and the dogs get in a fight and one of my pets that's in your care gets injured from that dog fight. The animal floater is going to respond. So 2 ways to think about the different coverages that respond to the pets. One portion, professional liability, covers the pets during the groom while you're rendering your professional service. The animal floater is going to respond. Animal bailies is going to respond basically for anything else. And that pet's in your care, custody, and control outside of being groomed, it's going to be the animal bailies or animal floater that's going to respond to the insurance coverage. Next, let's talk about the property insurance coverage. So if you own a grooming salon or you're a mobile groomer, you need property coverage. We recommend that you want to cover all the tools, equipment, inventory that you have in your business. For example, let's say you have a bunch of shears, clippers, product inside your grooming van or trailer and it catches on fire. And now you lose your expensive shears, your clippers, your clipper vac, and all the product. The property coverage is what's going to pay for replacement of that property that's now damaged. Let's say you've got a salon and somebody breaks into the salon, steals a bunch of the tools and equipment, or there's a fire at the salon and everything is lost. The property insurance coverage is what's going to cover damage to the equipment and to the inventory. If you've done tenant improvements to your salon, for example, and there's a fire there, you built out some walls, made some grooming rooms. This is the insurance coverage that's going to cover those tenant improvements that you made to the location. Next, we'll talk about the inland marine or pet groomers equipment coverage, as some insurance companies will refer to it. These are the tools and equipment that travel around with you from job site to job site. So if you own a grooming salon and none of your tools or equipment doesn't leave the premises or the business location, you don't need this coverage. This is for the mobile groomer. This is for the person that's taking their tools and equipment from job site to job site. You want to make sure that you've got inland marine coverage. Really, it's an old, outdated term that means that we're covering property that travels around with you or property that leaves the business location. Again, this is going to cover the tools, dryers, clippers, clipper vac, all the things that travel around with you from job site to job site. So regular property coverage won't cover your tools and equipment that leave the location or salon. Property coverage only applies to the business location or within 1,000 feet. So those of you that are mobile, there's tools and equipment that travel around from job site to job site with you are going to need to be covered under the inland marine or mobile pet groomers equipment coverage portion of the insurance policy. Next, let's talk about business income and off-premises business income. This is a really important insurance coverage for you mobile groomers and even you grooming salons. You want to make sure that you understand the difference between the two. If you have a salon, you don't need off-premises business income protection. The way that these two different insurance coverages work, business income protects your loss of revenue for the business if you're temporarily closed due to a covered event. Let's say there's a fire at your salon or even in your mobile grooming vehicle and you're unable to operate your business for some duration of time. Business income protection is what's going to replace your loss of revenue. So again, your vehicle catches on fire and now you're unable to operate the business for 3 months till you get a new vehicle made or purchased. Your business is now closed for 3 months and you've got zero income coming in. Business income protection is what's going to keep the business afloat in a lot of cases. It's going to keep your income coming in while you're unable to operate the business. Should something happen to the business and you need to close for a duration of time due to a covered loss. You've got a grooming salon, there's a fire at the salon, it burns everything in there, and now you've got nothing but a charred location. You're not able to groom pets and you're not able to make income. You need business income protection. This is going to keep that income coming into your business while you're working on building out the new facility, while you're getting your property back in order. So if you're mobile, the off-premises business income is the coverage that you need. Similar to property coverage, this is the difference here. One applies to your business location or within 1,000 feet, and the other applies anywhere away from the business location. So business income, think it only applies to your business location. For those of you that are mobile, this could be your home. A lot of mobiles will use their home address as their business location. So you have your van parked in the driveway and there's a fire of your vehicle while it's at your house. The business income is going to be the portion of the policy that responds to that income loss. If you're out at a client's house, you're out at my house grooming my 2 pets and there's a fire, your vehicle is damaged or destroyed. Now you're unable to operate the business for, again, 2-3 months, 6 months for you to get a new vehicle. The off-premises business income protection is going to be the portion of the insurance policy that's going to pay for your loss of revenue. So very important coverage to have for your business. One applies at the business location or within 1,000 feet, and the other applies away, more than 1,000 feet away. Business income is for your location. Off-premises is for you mobiles that travel around. Because more than likely what'll happen is you'll be driving to an appointment or you'll be at an appointment and suddenly there's a bad accident or there's a fire and now your tools and equipment are destroyed, unable to operate the business. This is going to be the coverage that's going to keep you afloat and keep you in business while you're unable to operate your business. And overall, that's the business owner's policy. It's often referred to as a business owner's policy or a business owner's package. Lots of different coverage included in there. To just do a quick recap, you want to make sure that your business, your mobile business, is protected with a business owner's policy that includes general liability, professional liability, animal Bailey's coverage, property coverage, mobile equipment coverage, and business income and off-premises business income protection. Next, for you mobiles, you want to make sure that you have a commercial auto insurance policy. A commercial auto policy is designed to protect the vehicle and also cover your liability while you're driving that vehicle on the road. So with your mobile grooming business, you've got a vehicle, be it a van that's converted, or you've got a truck and trailer being converted. The commercial auto policy is the portion of the insurance coverage that's going to cover the conversion of the vehicle as well as the vehicle, and it's going to cover your liability. So to dive into the liability portion, let's say you're driving up to a red light and you rear end a vehicle in front of you. You're liable for the damage to that vehicle in front of you. The commercial auto policy is going to pay for the damage that you've done to that vehicle and then any medical injuries that are sustained by that party that you just rear-ended. Also, really important and kind of something that I've discovered is not all commercial auto policies are covering the conversion to the vehicle. So when you're working with your insurance agent, you need to make sure that they have a good understanding of the conversion that's done to your vehicle. Whether you've done a DIY conversion, whether you've got a hand-V, a wagon tails, etc., mobile grooming world conversion, you want to make sure that your policy specifically ensures the conversion. Something that I've seen a ton of times is people have no idea. They just think, oh yeah, talking to the agent, oh yeah, I've got mobile grooming vehicle and I need to get insurance coverage on it. And the agent might not know that there's $50,000, $60,000 of extra equipment installed in that vehicle. So the commercial auto policy needs to cover the vehicle itself plus the conversion that's done to it. You need to make sure that there's aftermarket parts that are outlined on the insurance policy. We've seen some terrible things. Somebody went out, bought a brand new wagon tails. They went to their insurance agent who doesn't specialize in insurance coverage for mobile groomers. They said, hey, I need to get a commercial auto policy for my vehicle. Here's the VIN number. It's a 2022 Mercedes Sprinter. I use it for mobile grooming. Agent put together the insurance policy, didn't know that there was a conversion or didn't know that they needed to outline the additional aftermarket parts that was installed in the vehicle. And there was a really bad car accident. Vehicle was demolished. It was a total loss. And the insurance policy only covered the Mercedes Sprinter itself. So just the shell of the actual grooming vehicle, just a shell of the wagon tails. This person was out about $60,000 on the conversion that was done to their vehicle. Not all insurance agents are created equal. Not all insurance policies are created equal. And so it's really important that you have a good understanding of the insurance policy that you're buying, conversation with your insurance agent to make sure that that vehicle is properly insured. What I like to do when clients come to me and they want to insure their grooming vehicle is we have a detailed conversation about the vehicle itself and about the conversion. If it's a conversion that's done by one of the professional conversion companies, I like to ask for a copy of the purchase agreement, which outlines in detail the vehicle cost itself plus the conversion that's done to it. I've seen it. We see these purchase agreements that outline this information from all major conversion companies. Hand-V has one, Wagon Tails has one, Mobile Grooming World has one, etc. The trailer providers do the same thing where it's like, here's the cost of the trailer. Trailer was $10,000 or $12,000 and the conversion that's done to that trailer is another $20,000, $25,000. Make sure you have a good understanding of how these insurance policies need to be written for your business and make sure that the agent knows as well. And after the fact, you should always go back and confirm that this information is listed on the proposal before you buy the insurance policy and include it in the actual insurance policy after the policy has been issued. I see it all the time. People are working with an agent that doesn't specialize in the mobile grooming space and they end up with improper coverage and really hanging themselves out there for a big loss. It'd be really tough to recover from a loss like this, when you spend $120,000, $30,000, in some cases $160,000 on a vehicle, and you've got insurance coverage for $40,000 or $50,000. So really make sure that conversion is covered on there. Now I'd like to talk about workers' compensation insurance. This covers your employees if you have them, or if you're an owner operator, it can cover you against work-related injuries and your loss of income that might result from those injuries. So it comes up a lot where people are owner operators in this field of work and they don't think that they qualify for work comp coverage, but that is not true. If you're an owner operator, you can cover yourself against work-related injuries. Most states you can either elect to be, as a business owner, you can elect to be covered or you can elect to be excluded or reject coverage on yourself. So again, this is going to cover you if you get injured on the job, be it a dog bite, cat scratch. You get injured on the job and then that results in some infection and you're out of work for several weeks. The work comp policy is going to be the one that's going to pay for your medical expenses, and it's then also going to pay for your loss of pay that result from those expenses. This is super important for you business owners that have employees, because in most states, if you have employees, it's going to be required by law for you to carry this protection. If one of your employees gets injured on the job and you don't have work comp coverage, you're going to be paying those injuries and medical bills out of your own pocket. You're responsible for protecting your employees on the job. And we had a horror story. One of my clients in California, she was doing a meet and greet with a dog. So first time this was prior to even grooming, she was meeting the dog to see if the pet was eligible for grooming, and she went down and the dog bit her ear, almost removed her ear entirely. And It was a $300,000 reconstructive surgery to fix her ear. She didn't have work comp coverage on herself, even though she was eligible for coverage as the business owner. She could have had coverage. She wasn't included in the work comp policy. Her ear got bitten off, $300,000 of reconstructive surgery, and her personal health insurance or medical insurance denied the claim because she got injured on the job while she was rendering her professional service. Her health insurance said, oh, you were bit by a dog? Yes, I was. Okay, who's the pet owner? We want to sue the pet owner to recoup the funds, potentially. And they found out that she's a pet groomer and she was doing her job. So therefore they couldn't sue the pet owner for those injuries. So she was stuck with a $300,000 bill for cosmetic surgery, all the medical bills, and she also lost money while she was out of work for surgery, etc. So work comp is the solution here. Again, if you have employees in most states, it's going to be required by law. And then as the business owner, you can elect to have coverage for yourself or you can exclude yourself. I will tell you, since I had that rough conversation with my client who got her ear bitten off, everybody that I come across gets a work comp proposal, and you as the prospect or client can either decline the coverage if you want, but really rough conversation to have when she was looking at $300,000 of reconstructive surgery and it cost her $1,200 a year to cover herself. And then now I want to talk about employment practices liability insurance coverage. This is coming up a lot. This is an insurance coverage that will protect you as the business owner from any claims made by your employees. Now, related to wrongful termination, harassment, discrimination, this is going to be the insurance coverage that's going to protect you. So you have some employees and you wrongfully terminate an employee. You don't have proper grounds to terminate the employee. This insurance policy is going to protect you as the employer against any lawsuits that might come from your employee. So it's called EPLI, or Employment Practices Liability Insurance Coverage. And this is a very important insurance coverage, especially in certain states. So in California, you can sneeze and end up in a employment related lawsuit. So definitely a super important insurance coverage for you.